Brooklyn Independent Television.
Evoking both whimsy and disquiet, Jen Ferguson is an awesome Dumbo-based painter whose work encompasses everything from monsters to architecture. She even has a series on Brooklyn bridges. So, let's check out her fascinating artistic process.
My name is Jen Ferguson. I'm a painter. As far as genre, I like to paint a lot of different things. I paint in oils. The work is constantly evolving. It's definitely figurative, meaning you can tell what things are, but they're not realistic. I've been painting as long as I can remember. Ever since I was a little girl, I always wanted a horse, so I started by drawing horses constantly. Decided not to study art so that I could avoid the way it was being taught in college. And also I love literature, so it was a way to nurture my visual vocabulary. And then I never thought it would be a profession. I always thought it would be something that I did religiously and with dedication, but not necessarily as a day job. And eventually it just evolved into a full-time profession, so to speak. There hasn't been a clear path necessarily. It's all been kind of trying to learn how to run a small business. And I've just been really fortunate to have a little group of people that supports my work, and I've been very fortunate to be in this neighborhood where the arts are encouraged and there are opportunities for people to show their art. Like all the merchants in the area are very generous about wall space, and then there's the Dumbo Arts Festival. So I feel like part of being in Dumbo has been good for my career in that way. And then as far as career path, and people say, well, how do you do it? Like, how do you do it as an artist? Like, I think you pretty much sacrifice all the normal things that you would want to have, and your primary dedication has to be to your art. And then if you're really lucky and people like your work, then you can kind of have a career, but it means being dedicated constantly and not getting too distracted off of that path. And like taking risks too, which I know sounds very cliche, but if you don't try to push your art, then you're guaranteed not to succeed. And pushing your art means not just doing what other people have wanted you to do in the past. It means like, and also not knowing what you're doing. Like you have to be okay with not knowing what you're doing, and you kind of have to be okay with failure a lot. And that has to be part of the process. Slack-jawed, blonde, Midwest families amble through Dumbo and sip hot chocolate at Jacques Torres. They wouldn't have chosen to be here in the 80s. A lot of cab drivers wouldn't even take you here. It was beautiful, desolate, no retail, just dark factory buildings and warehouses on cobblestone streets with stunning views of bridges and packs of wild dogs roaming and foaming. I teach children here in the studio privately, and I really love it, and it happened by accident. I thought it would be really fun to do a show of art for children that's hung lower at their level and they can look at it. At the opening, I had a little table, like a kid's table with some crayons and paper and stuff, and all the kids, after they would look at the art, is they would run over to the table and start drawing. And then I've happened upon it by accident, but then I found out that it's really great and I love it. It's so much fun to share what I love doing. Well, I'd like to show you some of the work in my studio. I have a Dracula who is at a masquerade ball. Above him, I have a pig who used to hang in Blue Ribbon. People having dinner maybe were a little nervous eating their pork chop watching him. So I love to go to Aqueduct Racetrack and draw the people there. So these are some of my models, and they usually stay in one place for a long time. Now I'm going to show you some other work, so follow me. So I would like to show you now, this is King Kong. This is also for the Monster Mashup show last year. He inadvertently has broken the Empire State Building. He's very upset about it. And over here, we have art from the first issue of Cousin Corinne's Reminder. And this is depicting Easter on the F train, which I always imagined would have the bunny rabbit commuting to his many stops. Now I'd like to show you some stuff in progress so you can see what's up. So this is some of my new work that I'm really pushing the paint on, and I love color, so this is mainly about the warm tones. It looks like a lot of chaos now because it's very much in progress. I mean, I just started it. It will evolve into something. It's sort of like a puzzle. I start putting the paint on and then things kind of suggest themselves to me. Being in Dumbo is going to have like an indelible mark on my work. Also, not only because of the bridge work, but because I've just created so much work in the neighborhood. I wouldn't be painting the Brooklyn Bridge if I weren't right here. The bridge has kind of evolved through different parts of my work. It does kind of keep showing up in the work. Although I wonder when I move out of Dumbo, there'll be other things that influence it. I do think it's a good time to be an artist. It's always a good time to be an artist. It's a little harder to sell things when people have less discretionary income. At the same time, a lot of us artists are used to having fluctuating income. And so it takes the scary bit of the economy doing badly out of it a little bit. And you can't really get fired from yourself. Not only that, but doing art relieves a lot of stress, and it's so fulfilling. If that's what you are meant to do, then I think it would be worse having a different job right now.
Become a fan on Facebook, like Brooklyn Independent Television.